Yo, Johnny said, seen a voluptuous sculpture that was tumultuous. Damaged like Katrina, but Mina, you wouldn't have thought it when you seen her. Easy on the retina, she was medicine like tetanus.
What's up? It's your girl Ashley, and we're here again for another episode of our Journey of Love. I'm here with the husband. Hey, babe.
What up?
How you doing?
I'm good.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look blessed.
I am.
Yeah.
You know, I woke up good this morning.
I bet because you had to go to work.
That's facts. Facts.
Well, I had to struggle in traffic. It worked to slave now.
Sometimes in life.
Oh, you were about to go there with me? So you feeling today? Okay, all right. So we are here. We have some special guests with us today. We actually think this is a great episode that's coming up with this wonderful cast of Steps.
Woo-woo.
Yes,
Yeah.
woo-woo. Shout out to everybody.
We really need that button with the clap.
We do. I keep telling you we need to buy that applause button.
Yeah.
We're going to put that in the budget.
Post-production.
Yeah. The cats of Steps. How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing
What's
good.
good, man? Glad to be here.
Absolutely.
So we have, as what we said, the cast of Steps, which is a new hit stage play written by Morris Austin, who is a dear friend of ours, here in the, I guess, Atlanta area. Because, you know, they classify everything as Atlanta, in Atlanta or not.
Right. This is true. This is true.
So we're going to go around. We have some of the main characters of this play. I must say, my husband and I saw this last weekend. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Great.
We
Great
definitely
show.
enjoyed
Great show.
ourselves. So we're going to go around and just do a brief introduction of everybody. We're going to start with Mr. Felix Moulton. He played Mark. This was his first stage performance.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. I heard you a hip-hop artist. Like, I need to know more about that.
I am. I actually have been doing hip-hop music since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so
You're
I got
only 21 now.
bless you. But yeah, I was about 19, 20. I got called to preach,
Okay.
and so you know, the church wasn't as how should I say, not as receptive to hip hop music at that time,
Right.
and so I kind of moved away from it. But my son has taken the torch,
Okay.
and I've done some more projects since then. You know, I actually have a project coming out probably in the next few months.
Okay.
I've got 2 albums on iTunes right now, so
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. See, nice to know. You got 2 albums.
Make
You're a
sure,
real star.
make sure I download that.
Right, you're a real star. Get his autograph too.
I'm dope now. But,
Yeah, he is. He is.
He is. Yes, he is.
Hot sauce.
So you're
No
also
doubt.
the pastor of Word of Truth.
Word of Truth Christian Church. I am. My wife and I started Word of Truth in 1996.
Okay.
We are celebrating, 24 years this year coming up, and we have a great congregation. And Morris is actually over our drama team, so
Who would have thought?
yeah, we have a vested interest in this.
They let anybody work in ministry these days.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, man.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
taking time out of your schedule.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes. we
Thank you
also
for letting
have-
us use the building.
Yes.
No
On
doubt.
location for all our listeners.
Yes,
On
we
location.
No
Yeah.
doubt, man. We're glad to have you guys, man.
On the actual stage.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
are. On the stage.
Yes,
On the
indeed.
stage.
Okay.
And can I shout out? I have 2 wonderful children.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My son, his name is Caleb, and my daughter's name is Joanna. And my son, pray for him. My son is actually going to Ohio this weekend performing. So
Okay.
he's doing big things. He performed with Kiera Sheard last weekend. So
Yes, he did.
Nice.
yeah, he's doing big stuff.
Yes, he did.
We got some big times in there.
Yeah, man.
Proud dad out here.
Yes, he is.
Proud dad.
Shameless plug. I just want a room downstairs. It's all right.
Alright, and we also have Mr. Paul Wilson Jr., who played Matthew.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
Good. So I know you've been in 2 previous plays with Morris. Do you remember in the modern day Prodigal Son?
And those are 2 he actually wrote, but we've actually acted in at least probably 4 or 5 plays together.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. So you got a lot of credit under your belt as well.
A few.
A few. A few.
Hopefully many more to come.
You know what? I want to say I don't think I got to say it. When you did the prodigal son, that dad,
He played
You
that part.
killed
didn't
it.
he?
You killed
You-
that, man.
Thank you.
you was doing it.
Thank you.
You
You
did
was
it like you was
front
his
row.
dad.
Yes,
Right.
for
I almost hit him like I was dead.
Yeah.
But it was dope.
soul.
Right. Absolutely.
real. He actually did.
I wanted to give you an award after that.
Yeah, that was
You
big.
getting some Denzel looks up there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
He's a star.
Yeah.
Right. But, well, if it was after, if the character was believable, then I guess I did my job.
You
there.
did. You
Yeah,
absolutely did. So we also have Lorenzo Cunningham, who played John. How are you, sir?
How you doing? Doing great.
Good. So I hear that you are an independent film director, you're a writer, you're a gospel artist. You the jack of all trades.
Modern day slash.
I'm like, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm pretty much an artist, man. I do something. I just think everything that God's sending me to create, you know, I jump out there, man. I wanted a lot of opportunities, couldn't get them, so I had to start creating my own.
That's right.
You know,
There it is.
I had to just start creating my own. That's where it was. I felt like, to be honest, just being real, I felt like my talent may not have been where, you know, where I could just get what I really wanted.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, hold up. I can't wait for people to give it to me.
Right.
I just start creating everything, you know.
That's awesome.
And that's the direction that I'm going in.
Yeah.
Building your own lane. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's like people not, you know, these days people just don't give it to you. And it's not a lot of people willing to step up and create.
Exactly.
That's the scared lane. A lot of people try not to get in it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Ooh,
so,
that's good. Like, I like
With
that.
our
Yeah.
expectation.
yeah. Real tough. Real tough. So
Oh,
yeah, I've been blessed, you know. It's just everything I go out on, I can't say God provides, man. Like, I've been blessed, man. A lot of stuff I would need a bigger budget to do. He's blessed me, just, you know, whatever I need, he supplies.
That's that vape one right
Yeah.
yes, it is. That's what's up.
there. Mr. Morris Austin.
Oh, is it my turn?
Mr. Morris Austin.
Hit that applause button.
Right.
Do we? I don't need it. I don't need it.
Creative genius behind this play, Steps, the writer, actor, founder, CEO of Austin Creations. I mean, husband, father. Come on now. What else? What am I missing?
Oh man, I'm just the average Joe that lives
Here we
on
go.
the side of the street. You know, that's all I am. Man, listen, I'm just happy to be here.
Okay.
I'm happy. Didn't LeBron say that one day? Man, I ain't even supposed to be here. Didn't
He said it
LeBron
like
say
that too. He said it
I
like
ain't even
that.
supposed to be here, bro. That's how I feel. That's how I feel today. I ain't even supposed to be here, man. I just, most people, I mean, like y'all said, y'all saw some of my work. Do you remember? Had a big hand in Modern Day Prodigal Son and now Steps. I'm a controversial writer.
Yeah.
I write for the heart. I really don't write for comedy, but for some
It's
reason,
an aspect. That's because it's just you.
people end up laughing.
Just like that.
I don't get it. But yeah, I've been blessed with this mind and having to been through experiences. Like you said, as a father, stepfather. I'm a stepson. I've been a stepson. It's so much, man. You just try to put it all on paper.
Yeah.
There's so much more for me to put out.
I'm ready to see it.
I ain't even scratch the surface, y'all.
Man, go
Can
get
we?
that bag.
My only request is that if we can move it
Closer to the city.
Praise God. That would just bless me so much.
You know.
People in the wilderness need right?
I feel like the more plays he comes out with, the further they go. I just feel like next time we're gonna be in Alabama. I just really feel that way.
But you know what I realized? Ashley, that West Georgia, they don't have nothing to do out here. And this is
No offense to the West Georgia listeners.
I'm trying hard. I'm trying real hard not to interrupt right now. It's not my podcast, but it is my church. Word up. No, I'm just kidding.
You remember that commercial? What commercial was that? it was, and this is how I think. I've embodied this commercial, and it was just a whisper of a little girl, and she got on the commercial and she said, "If you build it, they will come."
That's a movie.
Is that a movie?
That's a movie.
That was a commercial too, right?
Maybe. Who knows?
That's also a prophecy, depending on who you're around.
Who you're asking?
I used to thought it was
That'd
creepy,
work.
and then I was like, hey, yeah, let me create something for people to come to in an area that's just dry, and maybe I can, I don't know. I mean, not, but
Y'all heard that?
it's not dry.
Ain't no ministry nothing going on out here.
In the spirit, it's just, like, there's no restaurants, there's no
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. They done took Chick-fil-A.
They got plenty of Bojangles.
Of the. She said a premium.
Plenty of Bojangles.
Oh, I thought you said a premium one. I was like, what is that?
There is a and there's a dollar store on every corner.
This show gonna have a lot of edits. So. Like 10 minutes. Intro.
Oh, gosh.
But let's keep in mind, Pastor Felix D. Moten, who plays my superstar of Mark, is from Carrollton, and his church is placed right here in Bremen. So this is the best town
In his hood.
ever.
What up?
All right?
Great. We
All
got
right?
it. Roger that.
And if you just saw his face right now,
Like he wants to say something.
you
I feel it.
I just love the Lord. Heard my cry.
Oh, man. Okay, well, Mr. Austin.
talk to me.
Can you just give us a brief description of this amazing
Yes.
slash, let's not forget, slash film?
Yes. It is. You want a brief description?
Just brief,
I can do that. I can do that. No, I gotta get used to this. I gotta get used to doing this. No, Steps is a play about blended families, and this particular play steps into the lives of 4 individual stepfathers who has their very own different trials and tribulations, and they get to come to life. I get to bring them to life on stage and through film, which is something people have never seen before. So it stretches through creativity, it enhances the acting and the drama, and you can put music behind everything, and you just kind of get to look into the struggle of these stepfathers, man. It ain't all pleasant. You think it's hard just to be a father, but now you're a stepfather. So it's like times 10, and most people just look at fathers. Fathers in itself. Look at Father's Day. Look at how we get treated on Father's Day. It's like, you can tell that in stores we get one aisle.
Part of one aisle.
A kiosk.
A kiosk. That's what we get, So the stepfather struggle, man. And what I had to do this because if you look at everything that's been done with stepfathers, we're either the villain, like the straight up antagonist, we're just doing everything horrible, or it's made in comedy. You can refer to Daddy's Home 1 and 2 with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. They laughed it up. It's funny.
Yeah.
You can have fun with it, but there's a light where it needs to be shined, where it ain't all sunshines and rainbows. Being a stepfather, so I got a chance to have an amazing cast of actors and crew to just make that thing come to life, man, and I'm proud of every one of them. Right.
So what was your inspiration behind creating Steps?
Oh man, my inspiration.
Was you like on the thinker?
Well, no. Well, Pastor knows. Honestly, I was literally driving down the street, and I was in that what's next type of mentality and mindset. I know I've been a stepfather for 3 years, and I can write a book on on everything that I have dealt with. I mean, drama. So, man, I'm just riding down the street and I'm like, man, it's almost like God dropped the beginning and the end of it. Like, just boom, just dropped it. And I was like, dang, that's gonna be a tearjerker. You know, and I was like, let me call my pastor. Because most people, don't know that Pastor Moten, as holy and spirit-filled as he is, he's a man. He's a pastor, but he's a man. And he has been in a blended family for 25 years. Yeah. He shared his story with me, and I embodied it. Man, I embodied his story, and I was like, bruh. And then Lorenzo Cunningham sitting right next to me as a stepfather. And I've actually sat and seen a situation with him and his son. And I was like, but it's real out here.
You look at him like these streets.
I did. Because Lorenzo is holy and spirit-filled too. But that particular day, the Holy Ghost left. He left the building. He had to have a real man moment with this teenage man-child that he's been raising in his house. And I start putting together the pieces, man. I'm like, yo, who else has a story to tell? And I set 4 guys down and I just realized, bro, we all have different stories. Like, none of us have a similar situation, so let's tell the story.
Dang, that's real.
Let's tell the story. So that was my inspiration, really, right there. Like, let's tell the story that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody's running from this. They're running from it. No, it's uncomfortable. No, we don't want to talk about that. You know, you want to talk about a man's feelings. No. He's a man. Or is he a machine?
Yeah. I think I definitely like the approach you took, because like you said, I feel like the man is just painted as one, y'all shouldn't have feelings, and if you do, you just need to suck it up and deal with it. So I appreciate that aspect of the play, and I know, you're absolutely right. I've definitely seen men villainized, and honestly, I never thought of the challenges that comes with being a stepfather. I guess one, because I'm not a man, and two, because my father, as I said before, my father wasn't there for 20 plus years, so I'm accustomed to men just ain't doing what they're supposed to do anyway. So it's foreign that for a man to actually step up and do, a good work and raise someone else's child. So that was foreign to me. So to see some of the challenges that are presented with step parenting, I was like, okay. Open my eyes to a different way of thinking, something that I never would have thought of before. So,
that's what it's all about. That's my first time hearing your experience. Yeah. And it makes all the hard work we put in as actors and creators, it makes us be like, we did it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one, we had 100 people in the audience, but if you get that one person to say, man, I ain't never look at it like that.
Yeah,
I ain't know.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of audience was you looking for when you putting this together? Who was you trying to reach?
Well, initially writing this, it was like I did it for us. I wanted to give us stepfathers a voice. So it was like initially you're like, man, I want to fill the whole room up with stepfathers. Let's get the bros together.
Yeah.
And then you look deeper into the content. You're like, man, men need to see this. Like, you're just a man.
And women too.
Yeah, and that was...
I really don't think, like I said, I really don't think we think about it in that manner.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, just with someone who has a child, you're not... Because I saw, one scene where the mother's trying to protect the child from, the stepfather and their discipline. So, I mean, I think that'll shine a light on that as well, to not be a hindrance in the parenting process.
And that's when you gotta put your surgical gloves on.
Yeah.
And you gotta be careful because, of course, we want women in the building so they could see.
Right.
But it's almost like, all right, we're gonna put the women in the room with the men, so down, are the men gonna stay in hiding?
Yeah.
Are they really gonna be able to be like, man, I can embody this thing fully, but I really can't because I don't know how she's feeling, thinking. I don't know how this ride home gonna be. What's she gonna say? I don't know because we've never had this conversation.
Right.
So it could be a little uneasy for some men. I won't say all men, but some men it could be a little. Because we're different when we're not around our spouses.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
That's all I'm saying. He's a smoothie
He
marriage.
is insane. It's the rest of y'all.
Right. But if you remember, we had a lot of conversation in practice how we were going to actually portray how hard we were going to go
Yeah.
at women.
Yeah.
And the whole point was we weren't trying to tear anybody down. We just wanted to be authentic.
Right.
So, but we were very careful though that it wasn't going to come off as just attacking, but at the same time try to be authentic. So we wrestled with that a lot, just in our conversation off stage. We want to be authentic, but how authentic can we be without tearing women down, right? And spouses down from that standpoint.
Yeah.
So we were trying to be very careful from
Absolutely.
that standpoint too.
It was, and that was the best part about having a pastor in the midst. You're literally sitting at the table with 4 ministers. I will say that because we all minister in a way. But it was great to have the wisdom of Pastor Mogan because, like I said, he's 25 years in.
Right.
He's been doing this blended family thing for a while. So if there's anybody you could be like
Triple OG.
How do we approach this? How do we tiptoe? And he always has nuggets for us after every rehearsal, just of how to handle what you don't want to do, young man. What you don't want to do is say that.
Right.
What you don't want to do is do that. You know, here's how you approach it. Because guys like me and Lorenzo, we're like 3-4 years in our blended families and being married. And I got to take my hat off to Mr. Paul Wilson Jr. because he's the only one at the table that's not actually a stepfather.
He made it out.
Right.
Did you make it out, Rizzo?
Hey, I'm just keeping it too real. You know what I'm saying?
Did he make it out?
I'm not.
Come on now. Come on now. Talk about it. Talk about it. He made it out. But he embodied it. And he made you. I don't think people would have, they probably didn't know. They wouldn't have known.
I'll tell you what, I feel like something that he did that I really appreciated, and this was in like the after rehearsal conversations we had, is he respected it. Instead of, he could have cast it off and said like, it's another man whining about something about life or whatnot, but he sat and, as Morris gave him this character, he had to play it. But he also got a chance to hear us having conversations about, because, this is a play about stepfathers.
Right.
And we are stepfathers.
Right.
So we want to be authentic, but we don't want it to be a story that is so close to our own personal story that it comes off looking like we're trying to expose a spouse
Right.
or a child. Because it's not meant to scar. We're not trying to scar anybody.
Right.
But I appreciated the fact that when we were saying all this, it was mostly him going, wow, he was just feeling it,
Right.
and I really appreciated that about him because not being a stepfather, it has its challenges as well,
Right.
but it's just another level, man. It's another level.
So I have a question for the cast. Then. So how did you feel when Morris approached you all to be in this play? Like, what was your initial reaction? How did you feel about it? Concerned about the topic? Or?
Well, me personally, when he came to me with it, to be honest, I was like, man, deep down, I'm like, I don't know. Because it's a real situation for me.
Right.
And I know at any moment, just touching on them topics, you know what I'm saying? They can,
Right.
they can go another direction. So at first, I was like, man, I don't know about this. Might have to get somebody who really act this because it's going to be real for me, especially just depending on the scenario. So, but overall, I think it was a good thing. It was a great thing that needed to happen.
Right.
I'm glad to be a part of it. But, at first I can't say I was like, man, I just don't know. I was wrestling with that because I'm like, I know my wife gonna be here. You know, I'm thinking
Right,
about my
right.
family. You know, and I'm like, man, I hope they don't feel no type of way.
Right.
But then I got to that place where, okay, you know, we just gotta show what really happened.
Right.
You know?
And when he got there, he started trying to push us all off the cliff.
You ain't going hard enough. Make something, brother.
Know this. Don't was cut on no slack. That's exactly what he was doing, word for word. He was like, man, I feel like you got more in you, boy. You ain't bringing it right now.
That was dope. That was dope. Feel that.
Right. You hold it back. I think you hold it back.
We in here, yeah. It's like once we in here,
Bruh.
we gotta go. It's
Right.
like we finna do this, we finna do this.
I'm
you
like,
know?
I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
But as we go around the table, so talk about what was your wife's response after she saw the opening night?
Oh yeah.
There you go. There you go. Right there, bro. That's good.
So, this is your show now.
Welcome to the Morris
That's
Austin.
good. That's good. He hit me with overall, man. She loved it. She thought it was a great thing. You know, I had so many mixed feelings. You know, just wondering how would she feel about it. You know, just talking about these topics and scenarios, about them being real situations in our life. You know, so. But overall, man, she was so happy about it. You know, she said we all did great. It's something that need to continue. And I was like, well, amen. You know, I appreciate that. So it's a good thing. She
I'm
loved it.
gonna ask you a real man question though.
Man, what's
I'm
up?
scared for you.
What was those conversations before she saw it though?
Ah man, before that, you know, it was she kind of like she support me in my craft, so that's a good thing. You know, sometimes at a time it was a time where it wasn't so easy, but now she see the path that I'm on, so I try to always keep her updated on what's going on in these productions. You know, how everything flowing, because that way if she see me stressing out, she won't think it's got something to do with her. You know, because in this production world, man, dealing with our own life and production. It can be stressful, you know what I'm saying? Some days, you know, your time is work, you know what I'm saying? So I always make sure to keep her in the loop. That way, like I said, if you see me laying on the bed, like, you know, stressing, like, dang, I gotta get up and go to work in the morning, you know, don't be mad, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be mad at me about that. Just know, man, I'm dealing with things, I'm trying to get the strength to just master this stuff one day at a time, you know? So I'm glad that she was able to roll out with me on that in a smooth place.
So, I go back to the previous question.
How did you feel?
Run.
Right. But initially, and as Pastor was saying earlier, not being a stepfather, my initial thought was, is this that big of a deal? To be honest with you. Right? Because I understand if you had written a play and said, this is going to be about stepchildren. Yeah, children go through it the most, right? Yeah, let's do it. Or even about single mothers, right? Because we always hear about single mothers, and I got enough friends who are single mothers. So yeah, that's a plight that they deal with. Yeah, let's go in. But stepfathers, like, who talking about stepfathers? Why would you come up with a play nobody want to see, right? I mean, that's like an extreme thought, but that was kind of my initial. However, once I started listening, right, and seeing and hearing people's stories and hearing what was really going on, and then Pastor, he would joke, but ask me questions like stuff that I never even would consider. He would say stuff, and we'd be leaving rehearsal. He said, when you go home tonight, how does it feel to go home to your own child? And I'm just thinking in my head, I never thought about it like that because it's always been mine. I never had to compete with anybody in terms of my children's attention to think that they would love anybody else or look to anybody else as a father. Never crossed my mind. But once he would say stuff like that, I started having to think. And so actually it did allow me to go back to when I was growing up. I had a niece that was born to my older sister. And she was a single parent. And then their relationship didn't work out. So later on in life, when my sister got married to someone different than her father, my niece's father. But during the holidays, so I raised my niece when I was a teenager. I was a young, raised father, knowing that, or even a dad, right? Competing for my niece's attention when it's our holiday. What are you doing here? That kind of mindset. So that helped me kind of get into the character mode, and then of course talking to the gentleman whose character I was kind of portraying from a somewhat of a life perspective, and just getting his thoughts. That just kind of helped me really get into the mode of why this really is critical, really is important. Of all the things we deal with as men, to be a stepfather, you add that on top of being, especially if you're a black man, we in the South, and from a job, church, all the stuff we're dealing with. Now you're also a stepfather. How many more issues, right, are layered on top of everything else we as men have to deal with, right? So it's critically needed, this conversation, because nobody's having it, as Moore said earlier. If they're having it, typically it's the bad stepfather or the irrelevant, goofy stepfather that is a butt of everybody's jokes. Yeah, exactly. You brush them off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Irrelevant. Goofy. Yeah. So.
Wow. So me.
Yeah.
When he talked to me about it, I almost want to say we were riding in the car together. We do that quite a bit. But when he talked to me about it, I literally cheered from inside because I have experienced it, and I've had. I don't want to make this sound, romanticized. I've had a glorious experience. It's been eye-opening. My heart is opened up, and it's like God's glory is just poured out. There were days when it just felt like stuff that you don't want to discuss with nobody. And unfortunately, there would be nowhere for you to run with your emotions, because if you have jealousy, and you think, wow, I don't have an opportunity. Nobody I can have all to myself. Everybody I got to share with somebody else. And people will look at you and say, you're being childish. Now, you already know it's the situation. It's just, well, almost as if to say, like you tell a small boy, suck it up, don't cry. These are real emotions that a man has, and it's amazing to me how people just belittle that. It's a struggle. And when he did it, I said, man, if you do this right, I remember looking in his eyes. I said, if you do this right, you are going to allow so many men to breathe, because they have literally, like, it's like people in a cell that spent years trying to pick a lock, and now this is where they're at. They're like, forget it, and they just live, and they're on pause. Their whole life is on pause, and they're just waiting for life to expire, because you don't expect it to get any better. And that's a place of despair. You've lost hope. Right. And to give me a narrative for my emotions, for you to just say to me, okay, maybe this is what you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling what Luke is talking about. Maybe it's not Luke. Maybe it's Mark. Maybe it's John. Maybe it's Matthew. And as you look through this catalog of guys, you get a chance to say, wait a minute. So that's real. That's what I felt. And he gave us a narrative. And I thought, man, it was just amazing to sit and watch men in the audience that were just, represented for the first time. I can tell you, 25 years I've been married, I've never seen a play about stepfathers, never seen one that cared about it. The only fathers that get the press are the deadbeat dads, the father that left. Nobody talks about stepfathers. They're the most unsung heroes amongst us.
Yeah. They do the dirty work.
And don't get no
Right.
That's the expendable. That's your word.
That's the Expendables. That's the movie. Y'all just described what your words just then. They don't get no credit. They come in and do the dirty work. Y'all saw Sylvester Stallone.
I love it. Movie.
Y'all saw
Three of them.
Y'all saw that.
Just don't rip off their trademark. I'm just saying.
Nobody will ever know their name.
In and out.
In and out, right?
Bro.
It's how Luke felt.
And can I say one thing real quick?
Go ahead.
I will say this much, and this is kind of goes along with our culture, and I guess anybody, but our culture in particular. Most of the best comedy comes out of tragedy, and I do believe that a large reason that things like that you do are comical is because we don't know how to immediately engage pain. It's like if you hit me with truth real hard, I'm gonna start looking around to see who saw me get hit and try to shrug it off and make a joke out of it, because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's camouflage.
Yeah.
But I think that night it was literally like you putting medicine in some ground beef and feeding it to the dog, and the dog is so happy to get the ground beef, he doesn't even know he got the medicine until he's halfway home. That's exactly why I think comedy kind of envelops some of the stuff that you do. And that night I saw it in a big way.
That's what's up.
So it was
Yeah,
amazing.
it was there.
Yeah.
It was there. Do any of you guys can relate to the characters y'all did?
We are the characters. On some level, we are those characters.
Yeah.
That's
Some
all.
level.
I know the one thing that I appreciated too is that you brought up. There was a little at the end, snippet that dealt with suicide and that whole mental health aspect. I definitely think within the Black community that we don't talk about mental health a lot. Our whole thing is we don't need a counselor. All we need is Jesus, and that's fine. Jesus is great, but you can also have a counselor too. And I think everything is people just holding in. Just us as a community, we hold stuff in. But in particular to this play, dealing with the stepfathers, one character just got so overwhelmed with just everything that they were just ready to end it all. So I think it was important that you showed that aspect and to encourage men to really deal with their feelings and to, be open and to find that sounding board, like it was a group of 4 guys where you can just talk among yourselves to kind of work those things out so that you don't get to a point where it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she brought that up. I was gonna wait till the end.
Were you?
Yes, I was gonna wait till the end to bring it up. But about the mental health aspect.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'm a big advocate of that because being a Black man,
Talk about it.
it's in society now. The stigma is it's not okay for you to fail anything. We're just told to go to work, shut up, and keep it
Make the money.
right. Keep your head up,
Right.
shut up, and get this money. And then if you look at all the things that's coming out with the celebrities, especially the Black guys, I'm just the Black guys, because they're the ones who get crucified.
Yeah.
If you look at their story, of why they did something, it's always a story behind it. What drove them to do that, and this, that, and the other, and you see it on your BETs, your Unsungs, and all that, and then you go like, well, somebody knew he needed some help, but they didn't help him. And then us as Black men were raised to suck it up.
Yeah.
Just like the pastor said, suck it up. It's not okay to say anything. And I know one thing he mentioned at the end, riding in the car, and the wife looked at him, so that's how I talk to you. That's how I look at you. And you just chalk it up. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Keep the peace.
Yeah.
Right,
You done shut me down.
You done swallowed it
Yeah,
up.
it's gone.
Because once you let it out, it's like a monster,
Right.
and then that is the name feelings. I'm sorry, I didn't know it. Then you, hold on, baby, I'm sorry.
You gotta put her to.
Yeah.
You gotta put her back together.
Yeah. So I really appreciate, and that's with all your shows that I've noticed. Did you uplift us?
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And see, shout out to Tyler Perry.
Shout him out. What up?
He does amazing things.
He does amazing things.
Great, amazing things.
He does.
But one of the negatives that I have with him,
Okay.
some of his things,
Express
he
yourself.
does sometimes show us in a negative light. And he had a pattern. I'm being nice.
God bless you.
Being real nice. So he had a pattern where it would just always bashing us. We was always in the jail, deadbeat dad, we couldn't get no job, we didn't have no self-esteem, no backbone, and I got tired of that, and then it was just, why we gotta look so bad? You got this platform, why do we have to be that? To show that we're okay, that we're good, that because we already got the stigma from from everybody else that we ain't good. We just
Yeah.
gangbangers going to jail, rappers.
Yeah.
All we want to do is play basketball.
I tell you why he did it. He wanted to be relatable
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
instead of giving you a superhero.
Because more people relate to that than the stepfather. But like I said, this was an eye opener for me. You know, so more people can relate to everything that Tyler has done in some of his plays. You know, the whole they got baby ass. I mean, listen, I ride a train to work cocaine downtown. I hear some stories. I'm like, oh, what? He did, girl, shut up. I mean, so that's what the people know.
Yeah.
You know, so if you were to present the same people with this play, they'd be like, huh, interesting. You know? So.
Yeah, and see, that was one of my things. I was like, you know, at first when he started doing it, it was cool, but it was kept being a trend, and I was like, well, you know, you're already telling me something that I already know, that everybody else knows in the world. Tell us something that it is not big talked about, and that's what you did with this play.
I'll say one thing, and then I'll let you talk, Paul. One of my favorite movies was Daddy's Little Girls, and I mean, I love the movie.
That was a good one.
I love the movie, and so I had me and my best friend. You know, I'd be like, "Hey man, let's watch Daddy's Little Girl," and he was like, he was uninterested. He was like, "Man, I don't feel like watching black people struggle right now."
Right.
And you got to think about that when you try to put yourself in a mood to watch a movie, even though you know it's good. You're like, okay, what I want to watch today, and that's depressing if that's what you think about when you think about a particular movie. Like, I don't feel like watching black people struggle right now. Let me watch something else. So it's almost like, wow, like maybe we should start writing stuff that can maybe give us some power, show us in a different light. You know, why we always got to be in the hood, and the wife beater, you know,
Selling drugs on the corner.
you know,
Yeah.
can we change up maybe just a little bit? Not saying that he hasn't done that. I mean, with his TV show, The Haves and the Have-Nots, it took him a minute. Now
He's
he
done
can,
some awesome work.
yeah, he can show the rich black folk, the rich black folk. But me personally, I would love to see some black superheroes, man. And they don't even have to have they don't have to have a cape on either. They can be daddy. Huh?
Because, I mean, to be honest, you know, our black superheroes, they, you know, Blade was my boy. You know what I'm saying? 57. I can't relate to Michael B. He my age. I think I might be older than him.
Well, Blade is a butter knife.
Ain't cutting
Nothing, bro. That boy can't even cut up. That boy.
Sidney Poitier.
Right. Billy D. Williams, I mean, yeah, bro, yeah.
Yeah, Idris, I like Idris. I like his versatility. You have to respect Denzel because he's embodying telling certain stories. You know, he wants to tell a story that he's choosy. He's particular about what he chooses to be in now.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to be like that. You really do. In this world. You know, you keep doing the same old stuff. Okay, we know the narrative, we know the stereotypes, but let's switch it up. Let's switch. Or you're gonna get those folks like Luke. You're gonna get a young stepfather, immature. I can even go to add he didn't have his father. Or any kind of his male role models was the brothers he's sitting at the table with. Wow. And then at some point in time, they had to move on with their life. They had to start families. And him being the youngest, immaturest guy, jumping into a situation called love, probably had the savior complex, where he saw a woman with a child, beautiful, you know, and says, I can love you and I can love her. I'll take care of you. I got you. And he jumps into something not knowing what the cost is. It's a price tag on that woman.
My God, my God.
And now he's in it, and he's trying his best. There's men that absolutely try their best. They put their best foot forward. Yeah, you're human. You're gonna make mistakes. You're flesh and blood. You know, you're not perfect. But if you're trying, and you're trying, and you're starting to feel like, man, ain't nothing working. And then you get to a breaking point where you actually, what you deem as your everything, your wife, your child that you pour into, you almost got to really like go overboard just to get this child's affection because she's not yours. Mm-hmm. You have to live with that every day.
Every day.
Every day. She don't have nothing on her that looks like me. From a young baby to even when she grows older. So it's almost like a reality that everybody in the house can pull my card at any moment. You're not the father. At any moment you can pull my card and I gotta pretend like I'm tough. You know, no, that don't bother me. I'm good. I'm good. And you got one of them young cats, man, who just jump into some stuff, don't know the cost, and they lose everything. And they don't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
And that's when the depression sinks in. That's when the emasculation sinks in.
Thor's word.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When
big
you
word there, brother.
when that's gone,
Mighty big word.
think about it. If that's gone, if you're emasculated, and everybody here knows what that means. Everybody knows the definition of it. Everybody can see it in their head. For a man, if that's gone, why am I living? Why am I living? So
Man, yeah, it's been taken from you.
it's been your manhood's been taken from you.
It's castration.
It's yeah.
Essentially.
Woo, castration. I don't have.
None of the Thor's word.
I got nothing.
Wow.
So
Neuter.
just we want people to think about that. We just
I've been through these scenarios many times. Trust me when I say
I just wanted to portray something real. I didn't want to, beat around the bush with it.
Yeah.
Let's just show it what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Sometimes we don't know what a particular woman is asking for. You want a man or you want a machine? Is men out there that have to ask permission from their wives to be a man? Baby, can I be a man today? Okay, baby, you can have your testicles today, but turn them in at the end of the night, okay? I need them back.
Wait a minute, we gotta check out Pop.
I mean, I'm sorry, I just had to.
You was a whole another place.
Sign them out. Please sign them out.
Right,
Back in.
right. Sign them out and sign them back in.
man, you can't check out no more until we get these back.
Until I get these back.
Word up.
You didn't reach your limit for the month.
You that little kid that gotta sit in the corner. Can I play with the other kids? That's essentially the stepfather.
Wow.
But that's why it's,
Beautiful, man.
that's why it's important that somebody else tells those stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as we were talking earlier with other filmmakers, and it goes back to motivation, right? Because if you only want to tell a story to make some money, it's easy to just replicate what already is out there, right? I know certain things work: sex, drugs, money, right? Women.
Yeah.
I just create that if I'm only worried about making money.
Right.
But if you want to make an impact, now let's find a real issue, right? A real issue that nobody's talking about, but that people want to hear about, right? And that's exactly what you did. Because even if we go back to the Cosby Show, right? There were doctors and lawyers around before the Cosby Show showed up, but nobody was telling that story
Exactly.
because it wasn't dramatic.
Yeah.
Right? But then all of a sudden, somebody comes and puts it in front of our faces and be like, man, that's amazing. Black people, two married couples can make a lot of money together and have a healthy family and have a lot of kids, right? And do all these, have their kids go to college. And it became a revolutionary thing, although we've been doing that for a minute, but nobody put it on TV because nobody thought they could make money from doing it, right? And so it goes back to, again, different people have different motivation, not to judge anybody's motivation, but I know yours is, I want to help people. Yeah. So I think telling these stories now, I think then opens up the door for people to not listen to you for the next story you decide to tell from that standpoint.
Yeah. It hits home. It's personal, so.
You got my juices flowing, bro.
I see you over there. I see you over there.
I'm over here holding this arm down. Like, yo.
I feel like you got something to say. You got something
Man.
to say?
I'm gonna tell you the struggle of the stepfather is this in a nutshell. You have to pretend that your greatest fear is actually not a reality. And you see people, they try to reframe and repackage stuff all the time because we think everything is head. Sometimes it's heart, you know. Shout out Howard Thurman. But anyway, there is think about it from the standpoint. You know, I remember when it became a bad word to say stepfather. Say, well, I'm not stepfather, you know. She's really my father. And I'm like, you know, all the time, if we get a test, you ain't. But you saying this to make everybody feel better.
Right.
Now the new thing is, well, I'm gonna stepfather. We use the word plus parent. I'm like,
or bonus children.
But then
bonus
I've heard
children, yeah. And I'm like,
It's my bonus day.
I'm like, get out of here with all of that. You ever go to the dentist and they come and shoot you up, and then they come back 5 minutes later and they start doing work, and you're like, and like, you can feel that? Like, yeah. I thought, look, all these new names, it's not killing the pain, bro.
Right.
I still feel it, and nothing's gonna take it away because as long as I can work an entire year and break my back to provide for someone, and then somebody else can give them a book of matches, and they throw a party for them for that. Man, it's just nothing's gonna change that. And you know, I mean, what he just said, God, if that wife, the woman who has that child, does not come to the rescue of that man, I guarantee you there are more Lukes in households than there are all the other 3 men that are in this play. And they suffer in silence. They wonder why they come home late, why they come home drunk. They're going somewhere to medicate the pain. That's real. That's real.
So what advice would you all give to a young man who was potentially thinking about pursuing a young lady who has a child, or to the young man who's newly married and is trying to navigate the challenges of marriage plus the bonus children, this word we don't like, or for even a guy who's been in a couple of years and still struggling with that aspect? Like, what advice would you all give to those men?
I think this is a segment for Pastor Felix D. Moulton. So I'm going to give my answer, and then I'm going to defer to him. What I would say to that guy, that young man that just fell in love with this beautiful angel that fell from the sky. Hey, bruh, listen. This ain't no game. Like, if you're gonna come in, bruh, first of all, you're gonna need Jesus. I truly believe in that. I feel like I didn't get through half of my situations. Even just, oh my goodness. It was talking about drama. I'm talking about a baby daddy who wanted to end my life. Because I was taking his place in his mind. And he was furious. I'm talking about showing up at the front door, trying to get me to come outside. Showing up to the drop-off with his boys, with his guns. I'm talking about, you never know what you're going to get. It's a risky business. So, I wasn't supposed to have this long of an answer.
No. I went back to the night of the play. It's risky, brother. Oh, that was cool. That was a dope line, bro.
Just know. Hey man, you gonna have it's an investment, young man, and you may not get no return at the end. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say this. You gave several different scenarios. For the guy that's actually considering marrying a woman with a child, I'll say, if he's not grown, he should abort the mission. He should back out because it is not for the faint of heart. You probably need to get some counseling. I mean, seriously. And the mental health thing, I would get her and myself checked, because you step into this thing, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for people that are, well, there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
You know, and the more that you can work towards getting some degree of wholeness before you step into it, the better. Because if you're not prepared to be in a relationship with somebody else and their ex-boyfriend for the rest of your life, you just need to go ahead and stop now.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Nope.
The child's gonna grow up and look more like the person your wife used to go with. You know what I mean? So you might as well go ahead and strap them on now. It's real. At Christmas time, be prepared to get a gift from 3 different grandparents for the child. Be prepared for the gift that's coming to be better than the gift that you bought, because you can't afford to do that because you pay for everything else.
Yeah.
You know, be prepared for the child to say, I want to go to my daddy's house this weekend. And that feeling, in that moment that you just got to bite down and just like,
That's real.
be prepared. If you're insecure, you don't do it, because you know your wife's gonna be having conversations with her ex. If you one of these dudes is gonna be trying to burn the house down because you're jealous and whatnot, back out now.
And you know a good thing about all of that is you get a chance to see if that's what you really want. That's what I like about it. You know, nobody's forced into this position. You know what I'm saying? We end up in it because we made a decision. But like I said, the overall good thing is you get a chance to examine the situation which you in. There's so many different situations about to being a stepfather. You got families where you got to deal with the baby father. You got a son where dad may be even dead, maybe even in jail for life, and they just don't want to come around. So you're a stepfather, so it's certain things you ain't even got to worry about. It's other things that the kid starts to grow up and he feels, he's already feeling like he got the absent father. So you got a whole nother role to play that's different than the next stepfather. You know, you got to now raise that. You really got to let them know, I am your father. Like, it's a whole nother level. It's different. It just feels different.
Yeah.
Just trying to really be that void, because he ain't got no father to call. You know,
Right,
and
right.
all he got is you. So it's different. So I just tell anybody, man, definitely take your time and think about it. See if that's really what you want. Because if you came in just because the mom's hot, I like how she look.
Yes.
If you just attracted to her looks and all of that stuff, man. After that wedding over, you get home and you done got that house and you paying that mortgage, working hard every day.
Pop that
And
leg
it's
on.
really tapping into your life. Yeah, and it's stripping you down, so once you go through all of that stuff, that's when the real deal hit. It let you know if you really for this. Like, then it's too late.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta catch it from the jump. You really gotta examine from the jump. Can I take this?
Let me say this too, for every person that might be watching, and we get in the mic. For those people that are watching, and I ain't trying to bash nobody. Shout out to the Smiths, Red Table Talk, and all that. Shout out to Alicia Keys and my man, what's her husband, Swiss Beats. Thank God for them. I think it's wonderful what they're doing and how they're saying we've grown and we've matured and we can come together. Look, a lot of stuff can happen when you're millionaires. You know what I mean? I guarantee you that you ain't gonna be sitting up chilling with you and your wife and her ex-man in the middle range income, because there's no book deals, there's no revenues coming from this. When they put a book out, everybody gets paid. Right. This is a nice, smooth, secret way to handle child support too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to, Superman can fly on television, but you live in real life. You don't see people flying around. Just don't buy into stuff so quickly and think, well, we could do that. I'm telling you, it's not that simple. It's not that simple.
It's not.
It's amazing because that what you talking about, man. They vacations together.
Yeah. Man, I ain't trying to see that, man.
Signed off on.
Yeah, I don't like.
I ain't trying to hear that.
Signed
I
off.
feel like, no.
What Kool-Aid was
When
that
y'all
drink?
drink.
And what I don't
got
like, what I don't
And
like
get
is when
paid.
somebody look at me like I need to grow up. I'm like, I ain't grown yet.
Like you said, it works for the media though. When they put that picture out on bicycles,
I'm
the
out of
media
character.
take it out.
Yeah.
Get paid for that stuff.
Really, anybody get into a marriage, it's premarital counseling, right?
Amen.
And And in this case, it's almost another level of premarital counseling.
Yeah.
You need like family counseling before you jump in. And I don't know how many people actually talk about that or do that in advance. And even if the husband and wife are getting counseling, especially if you have older children who need to sit through and can sit through, if they're 2 or 3, maybe not. But if they're older than that and are aware of what's going on, you probably need some family counseling prior to, right, jumping that broom, right, and doing whatever else you need to do. You know what I mean, to get married. So I just throw that piece in there too. I think that's a critical aspect of it, of the process, of the preparation.
Because you know what I was told coming in? By grandma, mama, and everybody in them, they was like, okay, well, y'all married. Well, listen here, dear. This is the first time for all of us, so bear with us. Oh, so we all gonna ride this. Okay.
Can you explain that a little further? What you said?
That's what I was told. They said, listen, dear, we didn't plan for all of that to happen over there, you know, and him not being in her life. But since it didn't work and you are her husband, you know, I mean, we
You got to pick up the pieces now.
Huh? You know, we never been through this before, so it's new for all of us, so bear with us.
That's special.
That's what I was told. And I said, okay.
But you was told this after the fact.
I was
Not
already in
before.
it. You kind of take that conversation in stride. You say, oh, okay, cool. Because you still don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So every time something happens, they look at Morris. They look, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Oh, he done showed up to the door and da-da-da-da. Morris, you okay? Everybody checking on Morris. I'm good. Straight. You know? I'm just going to write a play about it later.
That's man style.
Shoot back. Come on now.
And get a coin.
Right. I need to drop one very vital point in as well with what he said, because I get this a lot. When you set up marriage counseling, do it before you set the date. Because I think some people think
good.
marriage counseling is like the flowers or the corsage or the dress. It's not part of the wedding. It is what you do to find out if we're going to have a wedding.
That's deep.
That's a good word.
You know, and people
That's why
waste
you
a lot
ask.
of money. Because I do marriage counseling and we go for the jugular. We go in because I'm like, man, let's just have surprises. You know, if you're gonna, this is not like marriage is a beautiful thing. Do you have a job?
What's your credit score?
Exactly. Where are y'all gonna live? Are you gonna have children? How many children? How far apart? Does she have a career? Are y'all gonna try to get degrees after this? Where is this relationship gonna go? Where are we gonna live? How are you gonna maintain this? What church are we going to? Do you shout or do you just sit quietly? You know, these are questions that folks need to ask. You know, and if are you dreaming about the house your daddy built? Can you live over here in this tent and feel love?
That's real talk, though.
That is.
Because if you can't, we need to abort the mission.
But
You know, and people are scared to have those conversations because they're thinking, we'll just go ahead and get together, and in the end, God will work it out. No, in the end, you're just gonna get out.
Right.
Straight up. And so I'm just saying,
real.
don't set the date, book the room, and then have counseling. Have counseling first.
people already got their mindset that we get
Precisely.
married. They already. It don't matter what you can tell them anything at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's not stopping it. If
They
you really
don't
love
respect
a person,
the
you be
process.
like, we gonna work it out. You would change. God could do anything. You would change tomorrow.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody stopping that mission. Once that
Exactly.
marriage pop up, it's hard for somebody to say, you know what, we need to just.
And you know what's funny?
It takes a mature
As
person
much as
to-
people claim pastors, church leaders, whatever, however you want to call them, are prophetic voices. If you were to tell them, I don't believe this is God, they don't want to hear that. So I'm like, if you're not prepared to hear that, why are we doing this? You came to me because you thought I could see further. If I tell you what I see, you don't want to hear it. So it's a difference in being blind and blindfolded. Step on off and do your thing. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're gonna do that. That's as real as I can put it.
Put the steps on the show.
I know
Come
from
with
what
the
I'm
fire.
big proponents of counseling.
Don't die.
Specifically premarital counseling. I know a couple episodes back we talked about that and how critical it was for us.
Yes.
And it was a learning, even though we had known each other, like we said, for over 18 years. Been best friends. You know, we went in, we know each other. not. It's gonna be
And
cake.
you'd be amazed.
We got
like,
there, and he asked this question. I said,
We both was like,
"That is a good question. Do you?"
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah, it was.
Precisely.
It was.
Right.
Precisely.
when you think you know somebody.
Right.
When you
Or when you think you know anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because you're stepping into uncharted territories, man. It's another world, man.
it's risky business.
You know, and I enjoy you guys' stories. You know, I'm gonna tell a little short one.
Please,
Yes, that
it's your show.
it is. Thank you. Acknowledge that.
Giving it back to him. You gave it back to him.
Thanks for giving me the mic.
Yes.
You know, so yes, God has blessed me with my best friend
Come on
and
now.
my wife.
Holy
my wife.
Oh man.
Oh.
And I am truly humbled that I was able to get out.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell the story, a little short story.
Okay.
I've shared this with the wife. She knows.
I'm
So-
sitting here like, what's the?
Right.
So,
be careful.
Just
be
to,
careful.
Just to, what gave me some thought, while I was watching the play is, when I was dating way before me and my wife got together, as I.
Yep. No, you're in it now. You're in it now.
Be strong, brother. Be strong.
The thing was to juggle. I don't have any kids
Right.
yet. I'm on the way now.
Right.
But the thing was the dating. You got some with, some without,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was just like, okay, how's this gonna work?
Mm-hmm.
So ended up getting with one who had 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and what made me hit the eject button.
Okay.
He gave me wisdom.
There it is.
He gave me the eject button, but what it was she was having a birthday party for one of the children.
Right.
Probably ain't been seeing each other maybe 2 months, maybe 3.
Okay.
And she told me about the birthday party, and I couldn't make the birthday party.
You couldn't make it.
Had to,
Oh,
couldn't
no.
get up.
Okay.
I ain't met I met the kids, but I ain't met no other parents.
Gotcha.
So I felt like it's
Make
not a
sure
big deal.
Make sure you're getting this.
But because I didn't make that birthday party, she's passed out on me.
No, she didn't.
Yes. I asked, was their daddy there? No. But you passed out on me. I knew right then I need to go.
That's deep.
This not gonna work.
Do not pass go. Do not collect food.
I ain't their daddy.
Right.
Me and you haven't even got to
Right.
that level.
Yeah.
And you spazzed out on me because I couldn't be your trophy.
That's some deep stuff.
Because you're expendable. You was already an expendable.
It was a
It
pre-expendable.
was right there on the line of risky business.
Luke.
You get the short end of the stick every time.
Hey, that's a deep story, man.
So I had to get out, man. And I
What a blessing.
And
I mean, word. What a blessing.
Yeah.
That you made it out, dude.
He said, I made it out.
I had to get out.
Because a lot of men already whipped in at that moment. Like,
Right.
they're like, I'm sorry, baby, make it up. And now you
Right.
feel like you got to fight harder. You roll on into that. That's a good move, man. You play chess, man.
It sounds so bad.
And we are not at all suggesting that, you cannot marry a woman who has a child and have a wonderful experience. I've raised my daughter from 2 months old. And we've been through preschool, we've been through elementary, through high school, dating, fighting, making up. I take her to lunch dates and things of that nature. I escorted her on the field when she was in the homecoming court. I mean, seen her march, get her degree from Georgia State. It's been a dream. But that is work.
Yeah.
It's real work. And I don't mean, like, if she's watching this, I don't mean that to sound like she made it drudgery. It had nothing to do with her. It was everything that surrounded it. Because it's like what he has, I have to pretend to have. But I don't mean that to hurt her. It's just the reality of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to swallow. It's uncomfortable to talk about.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that was a blessing, I mean that in every sense of the word, because that would have been, if she's that immature that she's not upset that their actual father's not there, then sir, you were on your way to the pit. I think it's Proverbs 6, 7, somewhere down in there. Talks about the strange woman, but we can talk about that later.
Oh, another conversation.
But this is a perfect time to say this, because just like Pastor said, I mean, nothing but love for our children. Just as much as you love your daughter, I love my baby girl. She's 6 years old. You know what I mean? It will never be anything against the children.
Right.
It's the experience. It's those moments where you felt like you had to go in the corner and nobody's going to understand. Nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to, oh, I kind of can already play the conversation in my head. Oh, she's young. She's angry. She didn't mean to say that. All those stuff are valid, excuses, but it don't change the way you feel. You can say that all day, every day. And you have this big thing, I think, which is the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, man, I'm sorry, we don't want to share. Is it okay for us to be selfish just one time? Just one time can we be selfish? Can I have my family to myself? But the reality, like you said, it is. That reality hurts us the most. It's not. We chose this, but it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
Sometimes we have this hope, though, that it's gonna work out in a way that because you're so blown away because you're in love and man, it's tough. But think you having your first child, right? Picture having that child, and it's another person in the picture. I mean, just.
You already shook it off.
I'm not even considering it.
I mean, the way you guys are bonding right now. I mean, you're rubbing her stomach and you're playing music to your stomach, reading the scriptures, praying over your stomach, all that kind of stuff. That's the bond. All that stuff it seeps into that child's psyche, and then all of a sudden you don't get to be dad. You're just. You're kind of like a dad. You're dad light. You're just, as much as you want to be dad, you can't be that. You don't get to have that moment, but you have all the responsibility of the real dad. You can't discipline like the real dad, but you can provide like the real dad. It's like you get to be everything but real, and it tears you up, man.
Making up and compensating, right, for what the other dad didn't do. So it's not like you just can't be yourself.
Right.
You got to be yourself plus.
Yeah.
And then I want to say, you do have some men who, when they come into this, they really don't want the title. They don't fight for. I love for it to be my child.
Yeah.
They minds are. It's some men are just different. Like my mind, to be honest, I respect and love them and accept them, but they going in and out. My mind wasn't like, man, I'd love to have a child. Like, wasn't that?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really fighting with what a lot of men fight with. I was cool. I'm like, I'm able to grind. I'm able to work hard, do what I need to do. And yeah, we got him. The thing is, he ain't mine because she ever ran off on me. I think like that. Like, I ain't got to pay no child support. Man, I'm just, I mean, it's a blessing too, I felt like, because I got you. Dad ain't there. I'm here. But if you ever decided to walk away, I ain't got to deal, couldn't I see my son? Like, eventually it would. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt. So it's a blessing to just look at it from another perspective. That every man ain't desiring and fighting to be that one. Like, of course, we take care of our responsibility, but we not just like, man, I'm hurt so bad because I can't be the father I want to be to him.
Right.
We take it like, look, I'm gonna help raise you to be a man, be the best you can. And at the end of the day, that's how we gonna rock. Because just anything can happen. I always tell anybody that although we don't expect the worst, we don't expect them to walk away, but it can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell them, I done watched my family, my parents, married 25 years, and it ended. You know what I'm saying? Now, I end up with a stepfather. It's different. It can happen, man. All it takes is somebody to get away from God. You mess around and get away from God, it's all fair game, Like, you can't control what's finna happen, what mistake you gonna make. Nothing is off charts when you step away from him. So I definitely suggest you, when you do step into the situation, make sure he is the head. You gotta have a 3-strand car to be connected. Because without it, man, y'all just out here lost. The enemy can come in any time with a bat, boom, and you don't get work.
I think the age of the child makes a difference too.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
It does. You're right. Because if you're younger, you might build a whole different bond.
Yeah,
When
do.
you got a teenager, you like, I'm just gonna help you be a man. You're gonna start working in a couple years.
We know what Lorenzo has.
I know.
I'm just trying to get this dude out the house. Man.
Hey, that's real.
Everybody got a different story. That's what I said.
But I still love him though. Like, I love him as a son. I really do, because it hurt me to see him not have his father. So it's like when a teacher, she was like, at a school, she was like, "Is your father around?" And I just seen him just looking, man. He looked over at me, and I had to step him and be like, "Man, I'm the father." You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he was just, I seen it in his face.
Oh man.
As a teen, and at that moment, it done something for me. I was like, man, God, I guess I got a man.
Lorenzo's got a heart, man. He got a heart.
That's real. I had to. It called for it, because he was
Not
just
a
standing
10,
there.
man.
He was like, she was like, "Is your father around?" I'm standing there like, man, I ain't your father. You know?
He tried to be tough.
I just been real. I was like, man, shoot, man, I'm still trying to do me. You know, I'm trying to. And then I looked at him, man. I said, "I'm the father."
He locked them eyes with you. He hit you with them eyes.
We're trying to avoid it. Go get the guy.
So we were like, "Yo, come on!" Like,
hey, it's the real truth though, because one thing about a young black man coming up into this, man, is some of us can be so prideful. We can be so caught up in ourselves, our own dreams, our own vision. I'm like, man, I want my own child. I'm just keeping it real. Like, a lot of them was fortunate enough to have, like, I still haven't had my own biological child. So I'm like, if I ain't call any child mine, I want it to be mine. I need my own too. You know, so there's a lot of struggles, man, and a lot of frustrations too. You be like, man, I'm trying to have my own, and now all I got is him. Like, it's just crazy. It's different looks, man.
yeah, it's different. It's dynamic.
Absolutely.
You guys, this conversation has been very enlightening.
Is it?
Yes, I've enjoyed talking with you all. I know my hubby has too. I don't want to speak for you, but I am.
And you better have those presents.
I'm gonna just slide that jar to the side. It's checkout time.
One of the Masons.
It's time to check them back in.
I need to see it.
I might have to use that for the show.
Got some new material. Man, always finding new material, brother.
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
So, Morris, your next play is this Saturday.
Yes, this Saturday,
Okay.
June 29th. Doors open at 5:30. Show starts at 6:30.
Okay.
Tickets sold at the door, $20 a head.
And they can also get the tickets on Eventbrite.
Eventbrite, yes, yes. If I can, I would love them for everybody to just please, if you're listening, go to my Facebook page and just type in Austin Creations LLC, and the Eventbrite link will be there for you to click on. If that's too difficult, go to Morris R. Austin. It's gonna take you to my page. You're gonna see a handsome young black man sitting right there on the couch, and the link will be on my page. Just click on it.
Glad he's so humble.
Right.
Very humble. If that's not enough, people, please just shoot me a Cash App and just put your name attached to it and the reason why you're sending me the Cash App at $Morris Austin, and I will put your name on the VIP list. Make sure you are up front to experience this roller coaster of emotions.
You got a section.
Right.
I mean, the least I can do. I just want to make sure you have every
And we
opportunity.
was part of like the pre-sale. We didn't get the.
No t-shirt.
No, y'all were at the reserved seat. They got special treatment. Don't special treatment. You're supposed to get reserves, and if you got here at 6, you could have just walked right to the front. Anyway, I love y'all, man.
Any final words from the rest of you all that you want to share?
We've said so
I think
much.
I got mine out.
Okay.
I think I got mine out too.
The brains are like, man, she cut that grass, man.
Hey, that's facts. That was just last week, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to work around here.
The grass dry yet? You took that grass out? No, it's Wednesday.
So you can have some flashbacks too, brother.
Oh my God.
I cannot.
That's the problem. Be tripping, man.
Well, we want to thank you fellas for just joining us. Mr. Felix, Mr. Paul, Mr. Lorenzo,
so
Mr.
much.
Morris. This has been amazing.
Yes, it has.
Babe, you have any final words you want to say?
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you for being on the show, taking the time to do busy thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this again.
Oh,
We would like to thank all of our listeners out there again for joining us for another episode of our Journey of Love. Remember to subscribe to all of our social media sites, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, YouTube. As they say, we are on
Everything.
We own everything. So check us out. Be sure to subscribe and follow. And until next time, guys, remember, love is patient, love is kind. We'll see you all again next time.
Now recognize how a good man's diminished the ruin.
Most of the time feeling misunderstood. People quick to criticize but barely recognize the good. Frustration on a daily basis. Trying to keep my patience. Trying to serve God. Be a father and please your lady. A tall order. Make you want to sip a tall glass. I'm a minister. And see me doing that. It's all bad. Women